Alright, welcome to part 2 of Entertainment Roundup, J77. And before I get started on some of the other stories I want to talk about here, um, I made a promise to mention the Fox and Friends handling of the Ray Rice, actually, sorry, handling of how they told that story and how a lot of people are upset at them and how they felt that they didn't took the story seriously. Yeah, I saw the coverage, and yeah, they definitely did a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff. But I'm really not stunned or shocked or upset about their decision to do that. In fact, I'm kind of surprised that people are surprised. And I keep asking my friends, you guys don't like Fox News, but yet you still see them. I don't get it. So you must like something they're doing because you keep coming back for more. But in any case, it is something that has stirred a lot of anger towards other people, other than my friends, of course. And the only thing I got to say is this: that in terms of news, in terms of how I view the news, I expect at least one thing from my reporters as well from the news anchors who are working on a daily basis, and that's give me honest coverage, honest the goodness coverage of what's going on. I don't need your opinion. I don't need your 2 cents of your political views. You're a news anchor. We just report the news. That's all I ask. A lot of times they have moved away from that, and they think they by making news that is news. That's not news. It's one of the main reasons why I can never take Fox News seriously, because besides of reporting the news of what's going on, they have to put their 2 cents in. You start becoming a news station when you start doing that. That's one of the reasons why I just don't go to Fox News. And they're not the only one, trust me. We want to tend to get on Fox News, but CNN is just as guilty of it than Fox News is. So to sit there and say that they're the only one that does it, it's becoming too much of a hassle to me. And what I saw there really wasn't news. It was just them. They talk about the comments about the situation, but they again they went off topic on the situation at hand, and pretty much made fun of it. Now they made a half-hearted, I wouldn't even call it half-hearted apology. They didn't even apology. They just made a statement saying we acknowledge how people are upset. We want to make sure you know that we do take these matters seriously, and that was it. They didn't even go 10, 20 seconds into it or addressing the issue that a lot of people felt they should address. But again, when it comes to Fox News, a lot of these guys who report it don't feel like they're wrong. They can't do no wrong. And to me, if you're not going to really address this situation or what people have been talking about, then you know what? It's best not to even come up with an apology, because no one's going to buy that your apology is genuine. And I don't buy that apology that you guys made about a few hours ago genuine. So, with that being said, look, I'm not stunned what Fox News is, because I know how Fox News operate. They are a very political news channel that's not really a news channel, but they're to spread their bottom line, and that's it. And I'm not going to go any further than that. Hey, there are also many liberal channels that do the same thing, so half of those guys I don't watch either. I want legitimate news, and to me, when it comes to something like this, and I'll say this, I expect the news station of any kind, period, to take the subject matter seriously. And that's the real feedback I have with this. When people see that, whether it's Fox, CNN, ABC, NBC, whatever, so they see a newscast or their whole entire or a news reporter making the light out of something very seriously, it's just a bad light on that person, as well as just basically in general of the situation that they're supposed to report, and that is not always a good thing. You always want to keep it serious, keep it simple, and if you want to have a debate about it, about the issue, you'd be welcome to it. I mean, I don't think anybody will complain about having a strong debate about something as domestic violence, but be serious about it. Don't take a light about this. I expect that more from my shock jocks on the radio, on XM Sirius on radio, and on the podcast on YouTube than that. And I got news for you: most shock jocks don't make light of that. In fact, you hear them make a very angry rant before they make light or a joke about that. So that's just my feeling on that. So that's just my take on that. But I mean, in any case, guys, my stun is not as terrible as one may think, but it is something that is unprofessional, of course. But to me, as long as you keep watching, there ain't gonna be that much change in terms of the Fox News formula. We already know what Fox News is all about. To me, if you're not offended by it, change the channel, look for something else. Otherwise, there's no point in complaining because you're still watching it. In any case, let's go to some of the stories that I have been covering. I might as well start um, with the a little bit on a light note because it's very short and very simple. And I might as well get this out the way because God knows I do want to talk about this. And I didn't really plan on talking about him, but again, he made entertainment news. It is Entertainment Roundup, so Justin Bieber, you're the first one up. As you guys know, he was he appeared at the Fashion Rock show, which was aired by CBS, and needless to say, the fans did not take likely to him. According to the reports that I have, which is very short, I will leave a link to it. The booze gotten so bad it almost drowned out what Bieber was saying about Calvin Klein. Now, the report said that he had stripped down to his Calvin Klein underwear, and the report also suggested that he did this to pretty much drown out the booze that was becoming more and more evident as he began to speak. Now, I'm just going to say this right now. I don't know if that was part of the plan. Keep in mind, he is in a fashion show, by the way, and he is one of those honks that ladies will scream for every time they see him bare-chested. So that's one of the things that I just want to let you know, that it may have been part of the plan. But whether it's part of the plan or not, it's irrelevant. What's relevant is that he's losing his fanship in an alarming way, and this is not the first time. I gotta repeat this. This is not the first time he was booed when his name come up, or even when he showed up on stage. Not too long ago, he was supposedly supposed to accept an award in Toronto, and his name came up, and it was not exactly a huge ovation. In fact, the crowd was pretty much mixed to negative when that whole thing got started. So it's definitely becoming an issue. It's becoming a very serious issue, not to for his career, and it's not something that I think Justin Bieber should be proud of. All right, Justin Bieber has gone through a lot. The legal troubles that we've seen over the past year and the past 2 years is starting to catch up to him. And this is a guy who I don't consider as a kid anymore. I consider him as a grown man who has constantly made some very terrible decisions for all the terrible reasons, whether people whisper in his ear or he thinks this is a way to keep him relevant or whatever. It is now affecting him. You know, I haven't said much about his music because frankly besides I don't care about his music. I don't know what music he came out in the last few years. I know he's getting awards. I know he's going on stage accepting these awards, but I'm asking myself, is the awards really relevant anymore? I mean, the music industry hasn't been the music industry for years, and I even know he's taking these awards. I'm still asking myself, what did he do again that deserves that award? That's how much of irrelevancy those trophies are. And he has a very cocky, smirky way of doing things that is completely a complete turnoff. Him getting booed, and I'm going to explain this right now, he's not as much getting booed for the music. Okay, that's the one thing I want to make it clear. I already seen the stuff when he was in his younger days on how talented he is. So I know it's not the music. Even though they want to try and say people are jealous and everything else. No, people ain't jealous of him. People don't hate his music as you may think. People don't like the fact that he's bringing antics around and it's getting him in trouble. And it's not only just making himself look bad, but making the country of Canada look bad. And people right now, the fans in Canada are not feeling him right now. And obviously it's been resonating. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And to me, it's only a matter of time. I know a lot of people say, oh, he's been around for years and he hasn't fallen yet. Trust me, it's only a matter of time before his antics is finally going to crash his career. It's coming. It's coming unless he actually really sit down with himself and say, you know what, I gotta start making music. I gotta start making great content. I gotta really start rebranding myself because this is not working. All right, how many more boo crowds must he endure before he finally realizes that people are just not feeling him? You can be a fan all you want, but you gotta admit, for one thing, all right, that his attitude, as well as his antics, getting himself in trouble, isn't helping his image, isn't even helping his music career. All right, be a fan, but don't be a blind fan. This is something that's a very big, serious issue. I will leave a link so you guys can check it out yourself. But for now, we're gonna move right on, and I'm gonna move on to Rosie O'Donnell because, well, she hasn't made her premiere yet or re-premiere on The View, and already she's stirring up the pot. Rosie O'Donnell was in an interview, and she said some not so kind things to one of her co-hosts. I find this very interesting, considering the fact that she herself had rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, both behind the scenes as well as some of the audience watching The View. There were a lot of people who was not happy that she was picked up again. I was kind of surprised she was picked up again, but the article pretty much made a statement. Have been following this. They said, and by the way, maybe you may want to say this is from ET Entertainment Tonight. This is written by Jackie Willis. I'm sorry. And this report says pretty much say that the 52-year-old actor will return to ABC talk show on September 15th with a table of new ladies, but tell Variety that the new faces ain't gonna be all that different, insisting that she wants the show to be smarter and makes a dig out of Sherri Shepherd, which was one of our co-hosts. She said no one is going to think the Earth is flat. Donald told the Trade Publishing, referring to the comments she made by Shepherd when she was at home watching that. I thought I was in an asylum. I thought I was going to have an aneurysm. So she's not very cool with one of her former co-hosts. She also said that Connor couldn't get out of the interview without talking about her infamous past, a feud with her former co-host, Elizabeth Hasselbeck. Sorry. Elizabeth will go into the dressing room with the executive producers, go over Republican talking points that are sent out every day, and then come out and recite what she have digested, and recalls, I'm trying to get her to talk more about her own self and how she felt rather than being a robot pundit. So basically what she's saying is that she didn't want to talk about politics. She didn't want to hear nothing about the viewpoints of politics. She wanted to have a basic, let's be ourselves and talk about stuff that pertains, that is related to ourselves, as well as what's going on within the show itself. This is also saying that don't expect the same O'Donnell you had hosting in The View in 2007. First of all, I was going through a divorce, and she said at the time that was a very emotional and tremendous time in my life. Now I'm quite married and happy. Now, I kind of find it strange how I'm glad she brought that up, because obviously admitting that she herself was not perfect, even though she haven't said some of the stuff she had done before The View. Let me start by saying I'm not a View fan. Okay. I do watch some of the episodes from time to time. They're very interesting. I don't have any beef with the View show format. They're fine. I have no problem with that. The Rosie O'Donnell era was not a good one, and there was a lot of reasons for that. Okay, she did rub a lot of people the wrong way, both with her co-hosts and even the audiences. So the idea that I can hear her side of the story. That's very, very that I can understand perfectly well in terms of you don't want to make it too much of a political viewpoint. And when you see the View talks about a lot of important things anyway, without ever taking sides on either the Dem or the Republicans. But they do talk about a lot of stuff that goes on. Whether you agree with the girls or didn't agree with girls, that's left for the viewers to decide. In which that's a good thing. You don't want them all agreeing on the same thing. You want to have that debate. However, there was some other stuff that actually ticked people off. That when you see it, they say, yeah, she didn't actually handle that well at all. I mean, they consider that to be the worst move. A lot of people consider that to be the worst move that you ever made by having her as one of the hosts. So seeing her come back did shock me a lot. It really did. Now there are two things you can take out of this. One, the original host that she worked with are no longer there. That's a fresh new cast. And two, maybe she have learned from her mistakes, and maybe she will use that experience to be a better host in this new format. And you only can hope that she can, because if the same stuff comes back out again with this new bunch of hosts for The View, there's going to be a lot of I told you so, but it's going to be pretty much a turn off where this is going to be a black eye for ABC. And you don't want that. I'm sorry, ABC. Yeah, ABC. You don't want that to happen. So I hope that she have learned from her past mistakes. I hope that she can put some of the things aside, because already she hasn't even gotten started yet, and Donald Trump is trying to pull her back into some kind of feud. If I'm on Rosie O'Donnell, I will leave Donald Trump alone. He has his own issues to deal with. Okay, I wouldn't even exercise trying to start a feud with Donald Trump. Do what you do the talk show, but be professional about it. That's all I can say about it. You don't have to agree with what your co-host to say, but do it professionally. That's all I ask for. We don't need any feud. And to be honest with you, she shouldn't have even mentioned about an All Stars situation. She shouldn't bring that up. But she did, and hopefully that won't become a distraction. Or at least something that's going to bring bitterness or further bitterness with the audience, who already have mixed feelings towards the star. So, again, I'll leave a link, let you guys decide for yourself. Hopefully, this won't become that big of a deal. Now, let's get on to something that is very important. Something I've been reading, and something I've been digesting. This article is from Variety. It was done by Mac Gracia. It's involving the Disney Studios, Maker Studios, and some of the impact they may have. As you all know, not too long ago, Disney had acquired Maker Studios, which has a big stake in Blimp, as well as YouTube in terms of video making. They were sold to Disney by $500 million. And a lot of people was wondering, what is Disney going to do with the studios? And it's been very quiet. We haven't heard anything else since, so we didn't know if Disney is going to exurb it, keep the name, which most likely they was going to keep the name. I mean, the name alone is big money. Or what were they going to do in terms of how the other characters they own, will they play a role in Maker Studios in the long run? Well, it seems like we're getting a more clearer picture, because the CEO, the Chief Financial Officer, the CF, the Chief Financial Officer, has spoken on Wednesday, and he basically said that they are going to be positioned alongside Marvel, Lucasfilms, and Walt Disney Animated Studios. Now, the article goes on and also said that they will play a big role in terms of bringing short films to the video context, and have realized how Maker Studios have grown over the years. Now, keep in mind, according to this article, they've grown from 4 billion monthly views to 9 billion monthly views, which is a lot, and now has over 450 subscribers on its channel. Now, keep in mind, guys, Maker Video has a very big stake in YouTube for a lot of reasons. One, they have for guys who are making original content through their studios. One of them happens to be Epic Rap Battles of History. And how big is this that channel has grown? Well, I'll put it this way. I'm in New York City, and there are posters of Epic Rap Battle History. There are commercials about Epic Rap Battle History. And this is a YouTube channel. They are promoting it as this is a TV series, and it's just a YouTube channel that lasts anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes. That 2 to 3 minutes have more impact than most of the TV shows combined on regular television. That is a big news. So, at any time when you see that, you know they're heading towards big things. And for YouTube, who has been promoting them heavily because of that, it means a lot to them as well for a lot of reasons. YouTube, as you guys have been following, those especially have YouTube channels, know they've been trying to get studios to invest in YouTube, bring original content to YouTube. And for a while, they have been doing that. We had a Mortal Kombat series, Mortal Kombat Legacy 1 and 2, promoted exclusively for the YouTube. Machinima, I believe, was the one who's carried it, and it has become a tremendous success, more so than when it probably be out in theaters. You now have Disney really pushing the investment in, and that's going to be with their characters on to YouTube, and that will be a big investment. So this is a big jump for YouTube, who for years wanted to get the big dogs to really put their stuff into the YouTube community and to generate revenue. To them, it makes sense from a financial move, but also makes sense to give YouTube a more of an identity within the social media group. So this is a big move that they're doing, and from what you've been reading, if you read this article, they're looking to do a lot of things for bringing original content to Mega Studio, but also bringing some of their characters to Mega Studios in short film form. And this is something that Disney, and I'm talking about Disney, not Pixar, because I know people say, well, Pixar's been around for a long time, they did that. Not in the way that Disney wants them to do. They want to bring short film content to the studios, bring their name out to the studios, and if this works, it could be a big move that they can have for years to come. Disney has pretty much going to be aligning themselves big, and Maker Studio is the key. They want to push Maker Studios forward in the YouTube community, and to me, there's nothing but positive, both for YouTube, both for makers, and for Disney. When it's a win-win situation for them, if you're looking at it from a financial, but most of all for a content point of view. You're getting original content that people will like, but also you're getting something that that can be something of a staple in the near future. Now, what's the downside of this? Well, the only downside I'm seeing so far, and I'm saying this as a precaution, we don't know how people who normally would use their characters for fanfic films or fan art or fan fiction, how this will affect them. Keep in mind, there is still a scare factor with Disney owning a lot of the stuff, because the one thing they always said about this is Disney have a very strict policy when it comes to people using their stuff. There's something that is not something that has been been documented for years, and you only hope that Disney will continue to allow people who are fans of their characters and their work to continue doing some of this stuff, because there are a lot of creativity stuff. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because when it was reported that Star Wars was bought and sold to Disney, huge among of people was scared to death because they didn't know if Disney was going to go after them for making fan films. Keep in mind, George Lucas was very loose about it. He encouraged fan films to be made of his property. And you've seen a lot of good ones. You've seen a lot of not so good ones, but most of the time you've seen a lot of good ones, a lot of creativity, and you saw a lot of heart go into that. And even though we haven't heard too much about them giving orders out, doesn't mean that can't happen in the future. So hopefully Disney will tighten down on that. They do have a strict policy, but you only hope that that won't tighten down in the near future. But that's for the long run. The important thing is we're getting a better, clearer picture of what Maker Studios will play into the Disney role, which Disney has a lot of brands, have a lot of vision, and has become pretty much the corporation, the main brand, and we also have these little brands behind it. And you only can hope that they do right by Maker Studios by utilizing it the way it should be utilized, and B, that they will give entertaining content that for years to come. And with that, I'll say I will leave a link, and you guys can talk about it in your own gesture. Leave comments and let me know what you feel about that. Last but not least, I might as well talk about the Spider-Man thing. I'm not going to go too much into details with it. I'll leave a link so you guys can read it, but there may be a possibility that Spider-Man may not have much of a factor in the Sinister Six. This is not brought on by some rumors. This is brought on by the actor himself, Andrew Garfield, who's played in the first two Spider-Man films and is signed for one more Spider-Man in 2018. That is actually the date they're targeting, because Sinister Six is going to be coming out 2 years before Spider-Man is. But there is concern that the Sinister Six may not have much of a Spider-Man angle in it. And I'm a little concerned about that because, one, you kind of hope that they understand that you can't have a Sinister Six film without the main character, which is Spider-Man, in it. And maybe I'm overlooking at it because from what I'm reading is Andrew, who's trying to keep it secretive, is not giving us too much hints as to what's going on. But to me, the hints he's giving out is worrisome. I mean, it really is worrisome because, A, from what I understand, it's supposed to be an origin story. That's something that's been floating out there, and I'm saying, but two of the characters that they want to bring in here, already the origin story has already been established. So why are they going back to that? I don't understand that. Granted, the Vulture hasn't been established yet. Dr. Octopus haven't been established yet. God knows how badly they have portrayed Rhino, and that's not because of the actors, because he didn't have enough to do. But there is some sort of origin history to it. If you want to expand on that, that's fine. But you can't expand on it without Spider-Man. What, you're going to have to make these villains turn into superheroes? No, something. It doesn't make any sense. So I am concerned about where they're trying to lead onto it. Also, this is not the same. Mark Webb is not directing this one, so this is going to be a different director on the in a whole. So anytime you have a new director, his vision of what he wants this thing done, it's going to be different. And I'm not saying it's going to be a bad move, because I think Mark Webb is attached to the made Spider-Man 4, but I am concerned about the spin-off and how it will be, how it's going to be presented. Because keep in mind, even though this is a spin-off film, which is kind of weird how they say that, it's still attached within the Amazing Spider-Man universe, and you only hope they can do right by making sure it connects smoothly with the next Spider-Man film. If it's not, it's going to be a complete disaster heading towards that fourth film, that third film. So only time will tell. Again, I may be overlooking it, I may be overreaching it, but again, I just hope they do it right. Keep in mind, they have made some improvements. I've already made my review on it, and I have long accepted Andrew Garfield as the new Spider-Man, at least this Spider-Man. But I'm telling you, from what I'm getting hints for, first of all, the first article I heard that it may not be a Sinister Six, and it says back on, then they got a new director, then they're saying that Spider-Man will have less of a role in this. To me, anything that involves a Spider-Man storyline has to have Spider-Man, point blank. But I'll let you guys decide on that. I'll leave a link below, let you guys talk about it. I'll leave a link to all the stories I'll talk about it. I will talk about the Joan Rivers and the stuff that was the stuff that recently come out, but I'm gonna do it as a separate story because there's a lot of stuff that's been coming out slowly, but surely there's something that's very disturbing that I also want to talk about. But I'll do that in a separate video. But for now, this is J77 saying I'll leave a link below to all the articles I've talked about. I'd love to hear your opinion on the matter. But until then, J77 saying take care, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon.